Hey, it's another Monday, therefore it must be another time to ask 3 questions, and I give you 3 answers. Simple as that. And by the title alone, you know that this is another Gerann special because the guy keeps giving me content. Thank you, buddy. Now, would also be helpful if I could actually get more questions from other people. Not complaining, merely constructive suggestion. But anyway, on to the questions that Gerann has given, of which is the first. Have you ever watched the TV series Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny? If so, what do you think of it? I think I've only ever seen maybe a couple of seconds of footage or just screen caps of the actual thing. And it does look like it's continued the art style from Gundam Wing. I don't know if any of the Gundam Wing characters from the likes of Hiro Yui, Katra Rababa winner, Wu Fei, or Duo Maxwell, who was voiced by Scott McNeil. Really like his character. Very snarky, but very likable, whereas Hiro Yui just had this, almost like this Bruce Wayne complex about his character. You know, doesn't give a crap about himself, just as long as he gets the mission done. I didn't even know there was a Gundam Seed Destiny. I mean, the only Gundams I knew of was the first one I was introduced to was Gundam Wing. Very well written, decent art style, kind of looked like what Power Rangers would be like if it was anime. Seriously, Saban, make it happen. And it was just a very progressive story. You know, you felt like when you started from the first episode of Gundam Wing to the very last episode, you felt like you experienced something. And if I ever come across Gundam Seed, I'm hoping I will have experienced something. Hope that answers your question. Question 2. If you could choose a PC game from the 90s, what would make a great movie? Which one would you choose? It's an interesting question. I'd like to see what could happen if Railroad Tycoon could be made into a game. The first one I actually played a demo of, and oh dear. The gameplay and the graphics are heavily dated from that. Railroad Tycoon 2, that was released I think in '99. It was actually the first simulation game that I ever played back in the day, and I found that to be a highly enjoyable experience. I felt it was one of those games where you could go at your own pace, you didn't have to adhere to anybody else's rate of progression in the game, and you could do it at your heart's content. Make your own empires on custom fields, or actually set up your empire on established historic maps, like whether it be Great Britain, the States, Canada, Australia. It was just the kind of thrill that knowing this was like a blank slate, and you claimed your empire, your world on that, and I liked that. And I think Railroad Tycoon could be done decently as a game. The only other one I would like to see done possibly as a movie is SimCity, purely because I'd just like to see how that would look as a movie adaptation. Hope that answers your question. And third, we're still on the subject of video games. Did you ever play the Command and Conquerors, the Red Alert, Doom 2000, and Emperor Battle for Doom that Westwood Studios and Electronic Arts released? If so, what did you think of them, and which was your favourite? I sadly never played any of those because growing up in the 90s and in the last decade, my gaming choices were very selective, based upon what I was into, which was either WWE, Sonic, racing games, or the occasional mystery game. And it was also the fact whether, the rate I could afford these games, because I could only afford to buy a new game every so often, which killed the enjoyment factor, but you see where I'm coming from. And I do remember hearing about Red Alert, because I think David Hasselhoff actually said online in a video that he actually played Red Alerts. I don't know if that is, legit, and, don't quote me on that, but I do recall him saying that he actually played that. Again, could be remembering something else from something else, but that's what I remember. So, yeah, I sadly played none of them. Right, those have been your 3 questions for this week. You know the usual shtick by now. Post a question to one of the social media links in the outro, leave a question in the comments section below, or leave a question on the new forum. It's there for you people. Until then, ask again.